Jonathan Cook. I'm an ordinary South African and a psychologist. I've been in management education for some decades at Wits Business School and Gibbs. And I'm a concerned South African. I'm part of the family by marriage of Ahmed Kathrada and have been much moved by the events of the past week. And it has been an extraordinary week. Mourning for Kathy, the amazing funeral, the anger at the President's coup on Thursday at midnight, and then the call to mass action at Kathy's memorial. And these are my reflections on how we can turn these emotions into positive action to bring about the change that we so much need. And feel free to share this with anyone you'd like to. At the last general election, the people of South Africa elected the ANC to govern the country for 5 years. At midnight on Thursday night, however, this was overruled by the President when he ignored opposition from within his own party, the top officials within his own party, plus the alliance members, to appoint some ministers whose prime loyalty seems to be to business interests outside the country rather than to the country itself. And on the basis of what is clearly a fake report, he dismissed ministers who, by their courage and efficiency, have protected the nation's resources up till now. When the President does something that the Deputy President calls totally unacceptable, and the Secretary General of the ruling party says makes him very uncomfortable, and which the Treasurer General says, quote, left a distinct impression that the ANC is no longer the centre, close quote, then it is clear that the ANC is no longer ruling, which means surely we have a dictator. We, the people of South Africa, cannot stand by and allow our nation to be hijacked and its resources to be stolen by business interests outside the country and by greedy politicians within it. Let us be clear that this is not just a matter of exchange rates and rating agencies, important as they are, and they are important, but we are in much, much greater trouble than that. This has to do with nothing less than stealing the treasury and forfeiting our future. Nor is it just a matter of factionalism within the ANC. Sure, there are factions that will use this to jockey for their positions. But this situation affects everyone, even those who don't care about any factions in any party at all. Nor, in fact, is it just a matter of some corrupt people getting away with billions of our money. That is, of course, serious. But the tragedy is that when the thieves steal, they destroy far more than they gain. Big contracts, whether for arms, or for power stations, or for roads, or for whatever, cost this country huge amounts just in order to provide the corrupt people with a small proportion of that. Because of that, the country has less money, and less money is left over to deal with the real needs, the problems of poverty, employment, and all the other needs that we so want to address. And the democratic institutions, which is even worse, the democratic institutions that were bought at such human price are rendered ineffective and unable to protect us. Instead, they protect the guilty. The destruction to the soul of our nation is far, far greater than the miserable material benefits that flow to the corrupt. The President's actions will be defended, of course, by all sorts of ideological arguments, by fake news, and by defamation of good people. But don't be fooled, it's all about greed. So, what's to be done? This is far bigger an issue than toll roads ever were, and our response needs to be far stronger and more organized than it was for the tolls, and more successful too. So here are some thoughts about how to support each other, not just to make a noise, but to make a difference and to remove the President. The ANC must recall the President, soon. No one else has the power to do that. To wait for December 2017 will be far too late, never mind 2019. The thieves are stealing while you listen to this. So our efforts should be to encourage the ANC to remove him. This does not require an anti-ANC campaign, because it entails putting the ANC back in charge of the country. In 2019 we can choose whatever party that we wish to vote for, but in the meantime let's return the legitimately elected party to power. The party that was elected in 2014. That means the top 6 of the ANC must act now. Every day costs. To encourage the top 6 to act, the ANC members of Parliament must act now too, both in what they say and by their votes. Honour your oath of office and follow your conscience is our message to ANC MPs. follow your conscience to express your lack of confidence in the President. Members of provincial legislatures and branch members and councillors must contact their structures to let them know that this is what we expect of them. To encourage that to happen, the opposition too must come to the party. The opposition must put the interests of the country before their narrow party interests. It may be to the opposition's long-term advantage to keep Mr. Zuma in power, because that will continue to cost the ANC votes. But the opposition needs to put the interests of the country first in this crisis and join with those in the ANC who understand where we are. This will require resisting tempting opportunities to score points at the ANC's expense. To the opposition, I would suggest that you will gain stature by maturity in putting the country first and focusing on getting the current cabal out. That may mean, for example, even holding back on your motion of no confidence in Parliament in order to allow elements in the ANC to introduce one that you can support. Don't drive the ANC to defend what is indefensible. To encourage all of the above, we the people of South Africa need to assert every influence that we can on every structure that we have access to. The next few days are critical, so we should all be in the streets, making our voices heard. Every day that passes will begin to turn these changes into the status quo and soften our resolve to reject them. Every day allows the thieves to sign away another piece of our resources. This is one of the most important moments in the life of our democracy. But moral arguments and letters like this and even mass street protests will not make a difference unless they tip the balance of power. So let's be smart. Who has power and what will put pressure on them? We need to show them clearly that the voters will reject those who do not stand up now and be counted and represent us with real leadership. So contact your MP and MPL. Contact your councillor in local government, especially if they belong to the ANC. Let them hear from as many of us as possible. There are websites that will help you find where these people are and maybe construct some words to send to them. One of them is stopzuma.org. And pull in the neighbours. What about a street event to discuss what to do and distribute the addresses of your representatives? If you don't know anyone in a position of power, then speak to others in your network until you find someone who does. We need everyone to make their voices heard. Then be creative in finding every other lever you can. Act now. In the process, let's be the South Africa that we dream of. This is not just a negative campaign to be rid of one person. It's a positive campaign to make this the country that we all dream of. Can we convert our outrage into deep commitment to justice and equality? Can we do practical things when we have a new president to address poverty and unemployment and inequality in ways that will transform our country? The poverty, the suffering are obscene. We need to address them. Begin these discussions too now, while we share in the energy that will enable us to make a difference when we have a legitimate government. A crisis, therefore, is an opportunity to build something better. Let's make South Africa into the democracy our founding leaders envisaged it to be, and that we all long for. Let the people govern.